Welcome to OOTOTV, the out-of-the-office investigation into the present state of personal health and psychophysiological actualization. This time we're discussing human terrain theory and best practices. I'm Red, and I'm here with my colleague Shelby.
Hello, Red. This is a topic that sits at the very heart of how we understand wellness. Today we're going to investigate the century-long debate between germ theory and terrain theory. We'll then define what this human terrain really is, this inner ecosystem within all of us. From there, we'll get practical, exploring the core pillars of a healthy terrain and what it means to adopt a human terrain regeneration mindset. Finally, we'll look forward, considering an integrated future of health that harmonizes both perspectives.
And we begin with a statement that is truly paradigm-shifting, especially considering its source. This is the reported deathbed confession of Louis Pasteur, the very father of germ theory. Imagine, Shelby, after building a global legacy on the idea that external microbes are the enemy, his final reflection points completely inward. It suggests that the germ isn't the primary cause of disease, but rather the fertile ground. The weakened inner terrain is what actually allows it to flourish. This really sets the stage for a completely different philosophy of health.
To really get a handle on this, the fish tank analogy is absolutely perfect. So if you have a sick fish swimming around in a murky, dirty tank, your first instinct might be to isolate the fish and give it some kind of medication. But a terrain theorist would argue that's a temporary fix at best. The real, lasting solution is to clean the tank. By changing the environment, the water quality, the filtration, the food you put in, you create a context where the fish can heal itself, and more importantly, where disease is unlikely to take hold in the first place. This is the essence of terrain theory. Focus on the health of the environment, not just the symptom of the illness.
I think that's a powerful analogy, Red, but we have to be really careful not to dismiss the incredible, life-saving legacy of germ theory. It's the absolute bedrock of modern sanitation, sterile surgery, and emergency medicine. Let's be honest, when you have a raging bacterial infection, you need an antibiotic. That's the battlefield approach. You identify the enemy combatant, that specific pathogen, and you eliminate it. It is precise, it's effective, and it has saved countless millions of lives. It sees the body as a sterile fortress under attack from outside invaders. Oh, you're absolutely right, Shelby, and this isn't an either-or proposition. Germ theory is indispensable for acute care, no question. But terrain theory, which was championed by Pasteur's contemporary Antoine Béchamp, offers a vital, complementary perspective. It sees the body less like a battlefield and more like a garden. So is your garden soil healthy? Is it balanced? Is it full of diverse microbial life? If it is, weeds will have a really hard time growing. But if that soil is depleted, acidic, and weak, weeds are going to take over. The focus shifts from just killing the weed to cultivating a vibrant garden where weeds simply can't thrive.
So let's get a bit more specific. What exactly is this human terrain? It's the vast, complex, and incredibly dynamic inner sea in which our trillions of cells live. Think about it. It's the interstitial fluid that bathes our tissues, the lymphatic system that cleanses them, the gut that nourishes them, and the intricate web of hormonal and electrical signals that communicates with them. It is the complete biological, chemical, and even the energetic environment of the body. And looking at this slide, Red, it becomes clear just how holistic this concept really is. It's not just about our biology.
You're seriously suggesting that our thoughts and our emotional state are as fundamental to our terrain as our cellular health or our diet?
That seems like a pretty radical idea to many people in mainstream medicine. It is, and Shelby, it's perhaps the most important part of this entire investigation. The human terrain regenerative theory suggests our body's health is deeply connected to our thoughts, actions, nutrition, sunlight, fresh air, our personal energy, and the clarity of alignment between our actions, words, and thoughts. Dr. Catherine Clinton calls these signals of safety and danger. A chronic feeling of fear is a danger signal that degrades the terrain. A moment of genuine connection or a walk in nature is a safety signal that regenerates it. Our cells are literally listening to everything we think and feel.
That's a profound concept, Red. It really moves health from a purely mechanical process to something deeply interconnected with our entire experience of life. So that brings us to the most vital question of our investigation today. If our terrain's this responsive, what are the key elements for human terrain's cellular regeneration? How do we actively and consciously become better gardeners of our inner world?
Well, Dr. Ronald Hoffman gives us an excellent, actionable framework with these 10 pillars. It's a comprehensive guide to tending that garden. And as you can see, it covers the expected elements like diet, sleep, and exercise. But it also includes things we might not immediately think of, like the hygiene hypothesis, the idea that over-sanitizing our world can actually weaken our immune systems, and the profound biological need for socialization and nature exposure. But it all starts with diet, focusing on whole foods that truly nourish ourselves.
Okay, let's look closer at that diet pillar, specifically at protein. This is fascinating research from the Institute for Restorative Health. So many modern diets, particularly in the West, promote massive protein intake, often well over 100 grams a day.
But according to this model, that excess protein isn't necessarily used for muscle building. It becomes metabolic waste that burdens the terrain, congesting the lymphatic system and putting a lot of stress on the kidneys and liver.
Exactly. It's a classic case of more not being better. By moderating our intake to an optimal range, say 40 to 60 grams, and by shifting the primary source from animal to plant-based proteins, we give the body's detoxification systems a chance to catch up. It's like giving your organs a period of rest and reset that allows the terrain to cleanse itself. It's not about being anti-protein, it's about finding the right amount and type to support regeneration, not congestion.
You're listening to OOTO TV with research by author Paul Bulow. And what's truly elegant about these plant-based sources is their richness in nitrogen. Our bodies are brilliant chemists. They take this nitrogen and use it to synthesize a miracle molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a potent vasodilator, which means it relaxes our blood vessels, improving blood flow and oxygen delivery to every single cell. It's also a powerful anti-inflammatory agent, so by eating these foods, you are directly giving your body the building blocks to repair and soothe your entire system.
And let's jump to Pillar 10, nature exposure, because the science here is just breathtaking. The Japanese practice of Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing, is now supported by hard data. When we walk in a forest, we inhale these aromatic compounds called terpenes. Studies show that inhaling these molecules directly increases the number and activity of our natural killer cells, or NK cells. These are the elite special forces of our immune system, responsible for seeking out and destroying virally infected cells and even cancer cells. A walk in the woods is quite literally an immune system upgrade.
This brings us to the absolute crux of our investigation today, Shelby. We've talked about what we eat and where we walk, but what about what we think? This is where everything converges, so we absolutely must ask, how can a human terrain regeneration mindset affect our mental and physical health? This isn't just about a set of actions, it's about adopting a completely new perceptual lens for viewing your own body and your health. Our nervous system was designed for acute, short-term threats. Think of our ancestors facing a predator, a massive burst of adrenaline and cortisol for fight or flight, and then it's over. But modern life has created chronic, low-grade threats, the stressful job, the 24/7 news cycle, financial worries. Our bodies don't differentiate. That threatening email from your boss triggers the same ancient danger signal cascade as a saber-toothed tiger, bathing our terrain in corrosive stress hormones day after day after day.
And this isn't some abstract theory, Red. The data is absolutely shocking. A comprehensive CDC study on risk factors for severe COVID-19 outcomes identified obesity as number 1. But what was number 2? Ahead of almost every other chronic physical illness like heart disease or diabetes, fear and anxiety disorders. This is a stunning, mainstream validation of the terrain model. It shows unequivocally that our mental and emotional state can be a more significant predictor of physical resilience than many established diseases. Our collective terrain was being weakened by fear.
Exactly, and this chart really shows what's happening at a biological level. Those constant danger signals from fear and anxiety fuel systemic inflammation, which is the root of almost every chronic disease. They dysregulate the immune system, making it confused, sometimes even leading to autoimmune conditions. And crucially, studies show chronic stress literally reduces the population of our T cells, the very cells that coordinate the attack against pathogens. Fear makes us physically more vulnerable. It's that simple.
It's a deeply sobering thought, realizing just how much power our mental state holds over our physical body. But it also opens the door to a very hopeful and empowering question. If danger signals are so destructive, can human terrain regeneration improve our mental health and critical thinking while supporting physical optimum performance? Can we consciously choose to build a more resilient terrain?
And the answer is a resounding yes. We can deliberately cultivate signals of safety to counteract the danger signals. Each of these practices sends a powerful message to our nervous system that says, we are safe. For example, just getting sunlight in your eyes first thing in the morning sets your circadian rhythm for the entire day. Optimizing hormone production, grounding, or just walking barefoot on the earth allows a transfer of free electrons from the ground into your body, which acts as a potent antioxidant, quelling inflammation.
And this is the ultimate takeaway. The human terrain health mindset can be directly linked to an overall healthy mindset for success in all aspects of life. When you stop seeing your body as a machine that constantly breaks down and start seeing it as an ecosystem to be nurtured, that perspective shift ripples out into everything. A balanced biology supports a clearer mind, emotional stability, and the capacity to not just survive, but to truly thrive.
You're listening to OOTTO TV with research by author Paul Bulow.
So, as we synthesize everything we've investigated, it's really clear the future isn't about choosing one theory over the other. It's not germ theory versus terrain theory. The most robust and effective model of health is an elegant integration of both. It's a synthesis that gives us the best of both worlds, powerful tools for a crisis and deep wisdom for prevention.
I agree completely. We absolutely need germ theory for the emergency room, for that life-threatening infection. But we need terrain theory for life. It provides the daily operating manual for building a body that is robust and resilient. That's why understanding and identifying the human terrain and its practical application in your daily choices for diet, behaviors, and medical care is critical to our physical and mental health and recovery from illness and injury. It is the very essence of true preventative healthcare.
Ultimately, this approach puts the power back into our own hands. Human terrain regeneration aligns our bodies to a healthy environment for cellular growth, supporting both mental and physical success. By becoming conscious caretakers of our inner garden, we create an internal ecosystem where health is the natural default state and disease struggles to find purchase. So, we'll leave you with a final thought, a question to carry with you. When you think about your body and your health choices, which metaphor is guiding you? Do you see your body as a battlefield, in a constant state of war against germs, genes, and aging? Or do you see it as a precious garden, something to be lovingly tended, nurtured, and cultivated day after day? The perspective you choose will shape every single decision you make.